Hello guys, welcome to my video series tutorial to talk about Microsoft Semantic Kernel. In part 1 video, I covered what is process framework and what are the steps needed to implement this framework into Semantic Kernel. There we just stop the application, the step 1, process start the external event, step 1 receive the event, and the function we just print the result. In this video, we're going to cover up the remaining part of the process framework. If you are new to this video, first watch the part 1 video to understand the concept. After that, you jump to in this video to continue this process. Our first idea here is introduction step, trigger the event to step 2, step 2, trigger the event to step 3, step 3, trigger the event to step 2. So this is a first step, we'll do that. Go to the main program.cs file. Here I'm going to create the another folder called step 2. Step 2 folder, and to I'm adding one new class called quiz step, and this class should derive from this kernel process step. So this class should derive from the kernel process step, and we have to write one function to receive the event. Like step 1, we added the welcome message, the kernel function. Like that, I added the function called a quiz, or maybe I changed the function name like get quiz, something like that. Here I changed to green, the color. So the step 2 class is ready. The next step 3 class we have to add. So first I create the folder called step 3. And the class called LLM response, something like this. Same, this class should derive from the kernel process step, and here we add the kernel function get LLM response. Now change to red here. So fine. Go to our main program.cs file. First, we have to add our step into the process builder. So where step 2 process builder dot add step from type quiz step. So the second step class added into the process builder. Same for step 3. We added. So we define the steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3 we added. Next, step 1, once execute this function welcome message, it has to trigger the event to the step 2. So here I add like the same way, set event to new process function target builder. Step 2 you have to trigger. Once the function get triggered, step 2 should know the which function to receive the event, that we have to add, like I explained in the step 1 in our part 1 video. The same here, step 2 on function result, this get quiz function, this function should receive the event. So that event I added here. Quickly run and see the result. So here is the output, welcome process libbot, that is our welcome message. Second, step to receive the event and print the value. Quiz are great way to test your knowledge. We not called step 3 so far. So I stop the application. Here we done until step 2. Go to our flowchart. In the flowchart, we have to call the step 3. That's fine. This workflow is fine. But there is one more workflow is going on here. When the quiz trigger the exit event, we have to stop the process. So there are two events. Step 2 should handle it. Step 2 take the decision whether it has to call step 3 or exit the process. So we have to define two events. Please use this send event. So if you use a send event 2, that means it's directly go to the particular step. If you want to take the decision whether it has to go to the step 3 or it has to stop the process, we have to emit the event. In the step 2, we have to emit the event. What type of event we are going to send, that we have to add into the step. For that, I go to this quiz step here. At the moment, I just emit only the step 3 event. In later, I add the exit event. So here, wait. So I change to this one async function, async task, and one more argument we have to pass, that is a context. What is a current process step context, that we have to use it here. So the kernel process step context, I define in the one variable called it context. So here we have to emit the events, context dot emit event async new process event. This class we have to fill it and emit the events. So new process event, here we have to define the ID. So what is the event ID? So go to the step event. I define here the event ID like public static. Okay, we use the same get quiz. So trigger this event, step event dot step events dot get quiz. Trigger this event. So we added the emit event. For this function, emit the event get quiz. In the program.cs file, step2 dot on event steps event dot, if it is get quiz event, send event to step 3. So we define it. If step 2 emit the get quiz event, here we define if step 2 event is get quiz, send event to step 3. The step 3 we have to define which function receive this event. So step 3 dot on function result, name of which function should receive this event. Go to this LLM response, the function called get LLM response. So here LLM response dot get LLM response, this function should receive the event. We run this application again. See the steps. First, welcome message. Second, step 2 quiz or great way to test your knowledge. Finally, the step 3 receive the event. The LLM response is. Now we have to define another step. So the step 3 triggering the event, that should step 2 should receive it. The same way, just step events, I add one more event like LLM response. So the step 3, the same way here we have to add kernel process step context, variable name context, and this function has to change to async function, async task. Here we have to emit the events, LLM response. Program.cs file, here we have to add step 3 dot on event step events dot is a LLM response dot send event to new of process builder, step 2 should go. That's it. So we added step 3, if trigger the event LLM response, then send event to step 2. We quickly run this application and see the result. It will keep on calling because step 2 called step 3, step 3 again trigger the event to step 2, step 2 again step 3. So the workflow is infinite because we not add any condition to stop this process. That's what we added here is a exit process. So that we have to add it. So I stop the application here. The step 2, here our idea here is if the count reach 5, then we stop the process. So that's our idea. So the 5 time only the step 2 and step 3 should communicate. 6th time we have to terminate the process. For that we have to add the state management here. So if you go to the flowchart you can see the quiz will call the event to LLM response. So like that the workflow is keep on jumping one step to another step. In that state we have to maintain the state. So which state our application is running, that we have to maintain it. For that I should add the state management here. So here I add one user defined class like public class quiz state, and here I add one variable, int variable like int quiz count. Let it be like this. So this state we have to add it here first. So the kernel process step we have to tell which state I'm going to maintain my state management. That is a quiz state, and here we have to here define the variable private quiz state. So we have to update this state every time. For that we cannot use this function, get quiz function. We cannot simply use it. We have to overwrite the function called public override active async. This function we have to overwrite and return the value completed task. And here we have to assign it the state. So the kernel process state, we have to take the state, and the state we have to assign to the local variable. And here we just check the condition. If state dot quiz count greater than 5, if it is greater than 5, we have to stop the process. That means we have to send the exit events. So here we add a wait context dot emit event async and a new kernel process event ID. We have to send the exit event. So the step event, I add another event, public static string exit. That's it. So this event has to trigger here. Step event, not this one, this should be exit. That's it. So we have to increase this count. That count I added here, plus should be like this state, and here return it. No need to process anything. And here I little bit change the code, like where result go to quiz or great way to test your knowledge, and here we just print the count, state dot quiz count. That's it. So this result we have to print it. What we did, we added the state to maintain the current state of the workflow. For that I just create the user defined class, and I added one count, quiz count, and this class I added to the kernel process step and assigned the state management class, which state manager you have to maintain the class. So I define the object here, and we have to over this active async function to assign the current state here and return the value task completed task. And here our main function, I just print the count, and if the count reaches 5, I want to stop the process, so I add the exit event. So that's it. So the step workflow we clearly define in program.cs file. We have to handle the exit event also. So to handle this one, on function result, here you just call the stop process. That's it. So the stop process will automatically handle the exit events. So we run the application again. Bug, because state was null. So the mistake here is we have to assign it here. So if it is null, create the quiz state here. So restart the application again. It will execute 6 times. Okay, the condition we have to add equal, that's fine. So it's executed and stop the process. So our workflow working fine. In this step, what we have to do, we have to send the question to the step 3. So far there is no parameter conversation between step 2 and step 3. That we have to define it. So the get quiz send some information to step 3. Step 3 should receive that information. So the emit event, there is a one more variable called data. The data we have to use to send the value from one step to another step. So here state dot quiz count. This value I send to step 3, and I do one more step here. I just cut it, this one, and I add this step to here so that it will start from 1. Okay. So step 2 ready to send some value to step 3. In step 3 we have to define the parameter. If some value is coming from step 2, we have to receive it. So that I'm going to add it here. So here int count. So here I just print the count also. So just add the dollar symbol, and here we just print the count. That's it. Run the application again. Here you can see the step 2 1 and the step 3 LLM response receive the count 1 2 3. So this is a way we have to send some value from one step to another step. So I stop the application. Our idea here is the step 2 send some question to step 3. Step 3 should connect to the LLM model, get some response. So to connect the LLM model, we need the kernel object. To implement this one, you can just pass the kernel also here. Kernel and kernel here with a variable name. That's this value automatically get injected by the kernel. So go to the quiz step. Instead of sending this quiz count, we are going to send the question and answer to the step 3. For that, I'm going to add one more user defined class. Like I create the create the new class file called question answer. So this class contains 2 parameters. One is a question and second parameter answer, and we just assign this value into one string. Question, same for answer, and I'm going to override one class called toString, public override toString, and this function should return like question, and here we define like this one question and answer should return the answer. That's it. And step 2, we have to two way we can do that. One way that dynamically you can fetch the question to display to the user answer it, that we have to send to step 3, or you can just hard code it, that also possible. In this sample, I'm just go to hard code the value. To hard code the value, we have to use this function, active async function. I'm going to define my hard code quiz question and answer. So here let it be the state, and here add where like Q1. So the first question, new of question answer, what is the capital of France, and question 2 where Q2, capital of Germany is Italy, Rome. So like that 3 question I added. Once added the question and answer, in the get quiz we have to take question one by one and send to the step 3. To handle that one, we added the state. In the state we know what is our current state. So that current state question we have to send to the step 3. For that, I'm going to do, I'm just going to add one more list here. The list is string and questions. Fine. And I add one more variable called current index. So the public current index. So that I added here. So in the state, first I'm going to add all my questions. state dot questions dot add q1, q2, q3. So these three questions added, and here we check the condition is a quiz 5. At the moment I just commit this line. Instead we have to handle the exit command, so that also I added here, state dot questions dot add exit. That's it. So in the state we are going to get the first index. That index we have to send to step 3. So here where input to state dot quiz question state that current index. So once get it, we have to increase the index count. So this input I'm going to add it here. That's it. So this code is not required. I just comment this line, and this also is not needed, and this also not needed. I just print only the input. So here we just print the input. That's it. So we have to handle the exit command. So before emit the events, here we have to check the what is the state of the input. So if input equals exit, in case if it is exit, maybe we can handle the string comparison also, ignore case. In this case, await, return the exit event and return it. That's it. So the workflow is clear. We're going to fetch the current index. That index input we send to the step 3, and step 3 should process it. That we will do it. Once the reaches exit command, we just terminate the process. And step 3, what we have to do, we have to connect to the LLM model to check whether the answer is correct or not. That we have to handle it. For that I'm going to add the, I just comment this line, not required. Here I add the prompt like check the answer is correct or not based on the question. So that question and the message we have to pass it. In the step 2, it's a string. So the string only we are passing it. Here you see we assign the string, and the string we are getting here, and the string pass it here. But in the LLM response we define the integer only, that I change to the string and the message. So here we add the message. So to communicate to the LLM, the same procedure. We have to use the chat message service and define the variable chat message service equal to kernel dot services dot get required service. We need chat completion service, and here we have to connect to the chat completion service dot get chat message content. We have to pass the chat history or prompt. We can pass it. Prompt we define it here, and this is a sync function. We have to add a wait, and it's return the some values where result equal to this one. And if you want, we can print the result also here. Console dot write line result index dot content. That's it. Now the workflow is same like our previous step. Instead of int, we are sending the string, and once we receive the string, we connect to the LLM model and check whether the answer is correct or not, and we just print the result. That's it. So we run this application again, and this time we see the results. So the question, what is the capital of France? Answer is Paris. The answer is correct. The capital of France is Paris. So like that, the 3 questions we sent, and we receive all the response from the step 3, and finally step 2 receive the exit command and stop the process. So this is a simple example how to implement process framework using Microsoft Semantic kernel.